Hey friends, Raul Jimenez here with the Shredder Group. I'm here with Gage Reed, and we're going to do a little local segment of the flipping world. Everyone has these great ideas of wanting to become a flipper, buy wholesale, and then rehab it. But I'm with the guy that's done it, and he's done it many, many times. So I'm super thrilled to be here with Gage Reed.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me here. I'm super excited to talk about flipping. As you know, this is one of my passions.
Sure.
I've been doing it for a little bit now, so I'm excited to get into it.
So let's just jump on in. What got you into the flipping world? I mean, it could be daunting for people, especially people that don't know how to put a nail into a wall or what sheetrock is versus plywood. I mean, what made you want to get into this world?
Yeah, so I guess kind of a little bit of my background. Kind of grew up around it. My dad was flipping in the 90s. He had a landscaping business in the past, and kind of in the winter, that's what he would do to keep his guys busy. So I kind of grew up around the flipping world just a little bit. But what got me into it was actually buying my first home. So I purchased my first home here in San Antonio.
What year was that?
That was 2018.
Okay, I was going to say, is it during COVID, then it's DIY all the way?
No. My realtor mentioned that we should do some updates. Mind you, the home was built in the 60s, so it kind of needed it.
So when you say updates, are we talking about just cosmetic, or are we talking about like room additions?
Yeah, this one in particular was just cosmetic. So, I mean, cabinets were outdated, countertops, we had the old brown Formica countertops, that 17 by 17 tile.
Stop it.
Salmon color, beautiful home.
Yeah.
But no, so we had to make some adjustments to get it ready for the market. And that's kind of where I found out there was some money in this,
right.
So we made our little adjustments. We added some fresh paint, painted the cabinets, replaced the countertops, and got that house on the market.
So what's really cool about this segment is we talk about investing all the time. I mean, we've done plenty on ourselves with the Shredder Group. But in general, there's a lot of people out there that want to get into it, don't really know how to. You've been doing it for how long now?
I've been doing it for 3 years now.
Okay, so 3 full years. Talk to me about the process. I mean, obviously most people want to get into it, but don't know how to start. Do we have to get a bank loan? Do we have to go to relatives? How do you get the financing?
Right. So honestly, I mean, that's a whole different segment we could do, but there's a lot of opportunities and options out there for financing. The way I got into it, I actually used a hard money lender. So that was the first loan that I took out for my first rehab.
And for some of the other that don't know, hard money is basically just interest only. They advance the funds so you can acquire the property and then do the rehab as well.
Right.
The construction to selling, I mean, what is your average time on market to get ready from acquisition to live?
Yeah, so for us, I mean, our process is pretty streamlined. We kind of, over the years, have gotten our process and mastered that for us. But start to finish, we have 6 months typically to rehab a home. We usually spend about 2 to 3 months rehabbing it and try to get it on the market as quickly as possible.
How much of the work do you do yourself? Because, I mean, you don't look like you got a callus to your hands at all.
Okay, come on. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm sure many of you will be surprised, but we actually do a lot of the work ourselves, and then we contract a lot of it out, too. So my favorite part is actually the demo. If you want to get out there, relieve some stress, swing a hammer.
That's definitely a good way to start, right?
Yeah.
Just pop, knock a wall before you hit a pipe, and then you're in trouble, huh?
Right.
So talk to me about what you learned. I mean, I know from my first acquisition, first flip, till now, I've learned so much. I mean, I think I started out with pretty much the worst lemon in the world, had to almost redo it from pier and beam, all the stuff underneath it.
Yeah.
Took super, super long, over budget on my first one. What have you learned from start to finish? Like now that you're in the grind and you're buying and acquiring on a regular basis.
So, I mean, my first experience was kind of similar to yours. Went over budget by $10,000, bought a lemon. It was more work than I anticipated.
Sure.
Had to completely gut it. So that was kind of a learning experience. But I think for me, the biggest thing was just staying motivated start to finish. If you're going to get in there, you're going to start the demo, you're going to start that process. Don't get discouraged if you do run into hiccups and stuff along the way. And I think my biggest thing that I learned is take advantage of your contractors. Use those networks that you have, use those guys, because although you can do a lot of the work yourself, really the biggest thing for me is time.
Right.
Interest builds, time is money. It really is in this industry. And, if you got people that can do the work and get it done in a day, then why not?
Yeah, well, it takes away the weekend warrior aspect of it, and if you're
Right.
thinking about that, monthly payment that you're obligated to, and then just
Right.
be, I could do it in 2 weeks, but it ends up being a month. Next, thing you know, you've acquired that whole new budget that just kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you stay away from? I mean, a lot of people out there are like, oh, my cousin has a house or my friend has a house. I mean, is there anything that you've learned? Like some people say, I don't even want to touch pier and beam anymore. Or
Right.
some people say, I'm not going to touch anything with, movement in the slab or whatnot. What is your, I don't really want to look at kind of deal?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, we've kind of done it all at this point. We've messed with foundation, whether it's pier and beam or slab, roof, whatever. But I got my 3 rule,
Okay.
And so the big 3s, I typically stay away from all 3 if they're all distressed, which would be slab, roof, HVAC. So I'll typically take on something that has 1 or 2 of those big items, but I try to stay away from all 3.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a swing of like 45, 50 grand if
Right.
you had the perfect cluster or perfect storm, if you will. So Gage, I mean, there's always a buy box, right? What is an
Right.
investor looking to do? I know a lot of people look at what ARV is, after repair value, which is what we're going to sell it for. But what is your what is your method? What makes you want to buy a property?
Right. So I try to stick with the 70% rule. For a lot of you that don't know what the 70% rule is, it's really where you just take your after repair value and you take 70% of that as your buy. So you kind of want to stay within that range as your buy price. And then, of course, subtract your rehab or your repairs. Now, as far as my buy box, I try to stay anywhere between, it could be anything as low as 100,000 all the way up to 300,000. I think for us, it really just depends on what that deal structure looks like.
Right. And obviously, having the resources to figure out what your comps are and everything like that.
Right.
For everyone at home, I mean, I've been watching you for a while. I've been really amazed by all the things that you've done. You being in the new home world has definitely helped you out with designs and
Right.
trends and things like that. How can they follow you and how can they find what Gage and Rachel are doing?
Yeah, so you guys can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We're always posting. We're doing, reels, always doing even some short videos and posting on our stories and stuff like that. So you can kind of follow the process with us and kind of see what we're doing along the way too.
Well, there you have it. Any kind of questions or concerns or tips you want to find out, please reach out. If not, y'all have a blessed day and we'll talk to y'all soon.